I do have a question. The, grading permit for Paliata Union Gardens, what's happening?
You wanna start?
Because they didn't, it was done as of April 1st, I believe. They paid nothing last year. They were handed a grading permit last year, only because I had done an RTK on it.
You were gathering information, we helped you get the gathering the information. I had her call, I don't know if she called you.
She did not, no. Our office is taking a look at it, Lori. I made a call to, I think their engineer's Gales.
Yes.
I believe Kim Gales. I talked to somebody in their office today about that, just to kind of get some background information. It sounds like this has been going on for a while. So, I asked for ENS, erosion and sedimentation control documentation, stormwater control documentation. They had a grading permit from last year that expired on April 4th.
And then, and if you look at the permit, they were never charged for it.
Okay.
So they should be
So they should
charged
have paid,
double.
they should have paid a grading permit fee, at the time of issuance, right? They should have paid a fee at the time. They do have a state permit, stormwater permit, a BDS stormwater permit, for the site, which I believe expires in 2023 or 2024, I have to look again. From what they made it sound, it sounds like they haven't necessarily changed their operation considerably in the last year, or changed what they're planning to do on the site within the last year.
Which is?
Nobody knows. That's
Did they tell you? Did they tell you?
Which is a problem, because when you look at it, and it's up from where I live, so I'm past it multiple times a day. It looks like they're building a road through there.
Yeah.
It looks almost like they're lining, like the road or a flat area has been built with the side coming down. It almost looks like it's being lined with something. Or it's either lined or it is for the erosion, I don't know. There have been issues, not so much right now, with, dumping and their trucks all hours of the night, all weekend long.
I did not know any
And
of that.
the other piece was supposedly they did that mud overlay and down below it, down on Cardox, and then turned around and claimed that they could rezone Union Gardens commercial. And then turned around, and the little piece that was commercial that butted up against that property, turned around and rezoned it back to residential. So if you
Agriculture.
come down Brownsville Road, everything is residential except for this little piece where Union Gardens is.
That's agricultural still. That zoning never got
Yeah.
changed.
And we don't think it was ever changed, though. I mean, they went through the process, they went through in the middle of COVID and all
Gary
this
Sweat
stuff,
had to sign off on it. I found the papers.
and we don't think it went through the whole way.
The last I'm hearing is I thought it was rezoned.
Well, it was a big farce. I'll send you the
They
papers.
claimed,
Send me some, because we're gonna have to, oh, jeez.
I'm gonna like, Harold, I'm gonna
I'm
have to
serious.
give you all my right to know stuff, cause, you know, I wanted like the sign that was put up to shade for the meetings, the public meeting, you know, that they were gonna rezone and all this stuff. And I really think that they planted a picture, you know, took a picture of something to send to me, that it didn't happen, because again, I'm up and down that road every day, multiple times a day, and there was never, because I would've stopped.
So the property was rezoned, and there should be an ordinance
That was the other piece, we don't, there's ordinances.
Should have been posted. Property owners within 300 feet would have been done.
All kind of good stuff goes on
Right.
with that,
They
yeah.
claim, I mean, they gave a listing to me of people that were notified, but when you talk to the immediate neighbors, they said, nah, that never happened.
Well, you know, years
So-
ago, even when I was back here, they were trying to get that in, and it was denied.
Yes, it was, when we were on the planning committee, this is
It was
history,
denied several times.
several
Yes.
times.
So it's not a straightforward grading permit renewal.
And this
Sounds
is,
like it's quite a bit
this is a
more
rumor.
complex than that.
It's a not, wait a minute, it basically is waste dirt compaction.
It's becoming
It's
a
a dump
dumping
site,
ground.
yeah.
It's a dump site.
It's Rick Lawson's dumping
But
ground.
it's not
Yeah,
rotting
Lawson's.
material, so it's construction material that can be buried and compacted.
Is it clean fill?
Well, if you look at the one part sheet describing, it's layered of broken concrete with some clay on top. The main area has a curvature to it, and they have a built-up berm, which I assume is to restrain any runoff over the bank. I don't know what, without looking or going down to see if there's any sedimentation facility set up for it. They're probably in violation of not seeding it. You have so much exposed dirt you need, plus you need siltation barriers and all that happiness.
Can't have more than, 15,000 square feet of undisturbed at any one time without seeding, I think is the state
Yeah,
requirement.
I don't,
I'd have to double check that, but.
and there's more dirt than that exposed, let's put it that way.
And I do believe there was natural habitat stuff that was disturbed. We know Q&A.
Q&A, yes. They bulldozed a creek.
Well, there's a wetland shown on the drawing that I saw.
I think it's gone.
It's gone.
They bulldozed it.
It's gone.
Well,
We
there-
talked about stormwater management
Yeah.
the last meeting. We do know that in one of the rain instances that we had, they and Scarmazy and all of that property caused flooding down onto 88.
Flooded Dupree's garage across the street.
Flooded Dupree's. They were in the process of planting, they had, what, was it the mums? There was something they were getting ready to plant, and they have to actually sanitize the whole building. They just sanitized it, got the flooding, and they had to go in and redo it again.
Antique cars. Oh, yeah. Floodwater on them.
But that was, yeah, I mean, it flooded the whole way up because Trax had, I don't know how many feet, they actually had to close that day. They had, I don't know how
I
many
still have
feet of
pictures.
water in their front.
It's funny, cause remember Denise, I was telling you about that sign in Clareton, where they're at the Minnesota, at the sewage. plant in
Yep.
Clareton. There's a sign,
Palliot and Q&A.
concrete. No, it just, and it's right at it's right at the sewage plant, so I wonder if they're taking stuff, cause they're building something, they're building another sewage
Clarendon's building another plant.
plant, yeah.
Their
So
major
wonder-
expansion.
Wonder if Palliot is taking stuff out of there and then dumping it up here.
We know Q&A's building
Yeah,
is is not far from there either.
they're down in that old DeMarco building. Yeah, yeah, so, but it just makes me wonder now, like, okay, what's Palliata doing in Clareton? Are they taking spill out of there and taking it up there? I don't know. It would have to be,
Clareton Municipal Authority is doing a $25 million expansion
Mm-hmm.
yes,
that will be
yes.
finished in, I think now it's 2025.
So it sounds like there needs to be a meeting, probably, with,
Owner,
the
engineer,
owner, their engineer.
solicitor, and we need
Our
to sit down
solicitor.
and say, where we at?
Palliot is a bridge contractor, so there could be material coming in there from any job site. And
Yeah, I'm sure it's unclassified as well.
Right, but you need a site that's with controls for that type of material. And if it's compacted and put in correctly, there's nothing wrong with it.
I wonder if the conservation district is aware of any of the runoff concerns. I mean, they issued a permit.
But if I'm not mistaken, that runoff from where Peliota is at, heads towards South Park Mobile Estate. And, the pipe intake down there is nowhere capable of taking excessive runoff from it being disturbed. So there has to be some water, detention management there to occur.
It came down, cause Linda, her backyard butts up against there. She had said how bad it was on her end, and then you got Dupre, I mean, it comes down.
There's another valley there. There's two valleys there. One comes out of Dupre's and one comes out of Skeets.
Okay.
So. Oh, no, then there's a third one. Ray's Auto Body, there's the third discharge point that, would be involved in taking, stormwater. You need to see the geology of it, the terrain geology, and then you can determine as such.
Our historian.
Correct?
Hey, I hunted the whole damn place over there. It was a strip mine. I went down in the holes and checked the coal lot, you know. And I know where, you know, South Park Mobile Estates, if you go back to one cul-de-sac there, there's a pipe about, if it's 18 inches, you'd be lucky, terracotta, that goes through that part and discharges. So, and then even being on the planning commission, they graded off an area, and the same, stormwater was an issue. And I said, you're calculating this surface and this vertical surface. If they fill it in, this distance, A to B, is greater than A to B to C, okay? So if it's done correctly, you have greater absorption than what you have at the present. And they're looking at me like, are you nuts? No, it's a triangle, you know, figure it out. It's a hypotenuse, you know. But it's been brought other times, and that was one of the other valleys over there. There was development occurred in South Park Mobile Estate. So I know what I know. It's also flooded, Ray Hamilton's there, water came cascading from South Park into that stream there. Went underneath 88, there's two houses that necked the stream down to about like this and had blocks on either side, the driveways are there. The volume threw 12-inch block up in the air.
Morgan Lane.
Okay.
Was that Morgan Lane?
No, it wasn't Morgan Lane, it's between two houses. It's one has a driveway here and a driveway here,
Okay.
and the culvert's right here. So to get the driveways in, many years ago, they necked the stream down. So somebody was gonna bitch, and somebody told them, if you really open a can of worms, you won't have a driveway on either side to get to your back of your house. So everything was taken care of.
They're like that on Morgan Lane too.
Well, Morgan Lane's over further, but Morgan Lane doesn't carry a stream.
All right, so we have our work cut out. You have your work cut out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm expecting more information from them. That's where we left that conversation this afternoon. The gentleman I spoke to did not sound as if he was the one who was in charge